Hey everyone, it's Ali, the Assistant Academic Dean and Co-Director of our bar support programs. We put together this video about the bar exam, what it's like to study for the bar exam, and our bar support programs. So hopefully you will check it out and stick with it till the end. The first thing I wanted to share with you are some important websites. The first is our CUNY Law Bar Support website. The easiest way to get there is to go to law.cuny.edu, go to academics, academic support, and then bar support. We've got a bunch of videos up there and FAQs about everything from the uniform bar exam to the New York Law exam to the multi-state professional responsibility exam to character and fitness. So you'll see everything there that you need to know about how to get admitted to the bar in the state of New York. The next website is the New York Board of Law Examiners website. So the New York Board of Law Examiners administers the uniform bar exam, and they write and administer the New York Law exam. They also are the go-to place for any exam day questions, for applying to the bar, and for any security policy questions. And finally is the National Conference of Bar Examiners. The National Conference of Bar Examiners is the group of folks who write and administer, well, really just write, the uniform bar exam and the multi-state professional responsibility exam. The bar exam in New York is given the last Tuesday and Wednesday of every February and July. So you want to mark those dates in your calendar and think about whether you want to take the bar exam in February or July. So what's on the bar exam? The first day is your written day, and the second day is your multiple choice day. On the first day in the morning, you have 3 hours to do 2 multi-state performance tests. The MPT is a simulated lawyering exercise. You're given a case file with simulated facts, and you're given a library with simulated cases and maybe statutes or regulations. You're given a role, so you are either asked to be objective or persuasive. You may be writing a letter to a client, letter to opposing counsel, maybe a memo, maybe a brief, a variety of legal documents. And it's essentially what we did in our first year lawyering curriculum. Each MPT is worth 10%, and so the MPT is worth 20% of your total bar exam score. After a lunch break, you come back and you've got 3 hours to do 6 essays. Each of those essays is worth 5%, so in total the essays are worth 30%. Wednesday is the MBE day, the multi-state bar exam. You have 100 multiple choice questions in the morning for 3 hours and 100 multiple choice questions in the afternoon for 3 hours. The MBE in total is worth 50% of your bar exam score. So what is on the MBE? There are 7 subject areas that are tested on the multi-state bar exam: civil procedure, constitutional law, contracts and sales, criminal law and criminal procedure, evidence, real property and real estate, and torts. Essays cover all of those MBE subjects, plus agency, conflict of laws, corporations, decedents estates, which is wills and trusts, family law, partnerships, and secured transactions. So what should you do during law school to help you pass the bar? Really, the thing is to be the best law student that you can be. If you figure out how you learn best and how you study best now, you'll be much better off as you enter your bar study period. So you want to think about what your study habits are like. What works, what doesn't work, what could be improved. Do you like to study with other people? Do you like to study on your own? Do you make outlines? Do you use other people's outlines? Are you a visual learner, an auditory learner, a kinesthetic learner? Really think about what your study habits are like and what works best for you. Think about the exams that you did the best on in law school. What did you do to study for those exams? Did you write rules out over and over? Did you do lots of practice exams? Think about how you succeeded and how you can translate what you did there into future exams and into the bar exam. So what can you do this semester? To improve your ability to manage large amounts of doctrine, spot issues, memorize rules, apply rules, get to the heart of multiple choice questions, improve your speed if speed is an issue. These are the things that you want to be thinking about. What can you do right now to improve your ability to handle each of these areas. You also want to think about exam accommodations. If you're someone who's gotten exam accommodations in law school and you're planning to apply for exam accommodations on the bar, you want to work on that application now. You can go to the New York Board of Law Examiners and find their application for accommodations and their test accommodations handbook, and it's incredibly helpful. But the standard that they have is much higher than what we require at CUNY Law School. You're going to need to provide more documentation and potentially more recent documentation. So make sure that you either chat with Pat Kennedy or me pretty soon if you're thinking about applying for exam accommodations. Total shameless plug here, but you can also check out my blog, passingthebar.blog, for my post on what law students can do during law school to improve their chances of passing the bar. So a lot of folks have been asking about the bar review companies. Who are they? What do they offer? Do I really need to take a bar review company? The answer to that is yes. Anything that we offer is merely a supplement to the bar review companies. They are the folks with the most expertise and the biggest resources that can help you succeed on the bar exam. So what do they offer? They provide you with lectures, with practice questions, MPTs, essays, and MBEs, with a study schedule and plan, with outlines of individual feedback. And they're the folks that can really tell you what's most heavily tested, what's tested less frequently, what to focus on. And so as expensive as they are, bar review companies are really a critical component of a bar study process. And if you're concerned about not being able to pay for one, again, come talk to us. CUNY Law School has a bar scholarship program for just this reason. And so cost should never be a reason not to take a bar review company. So who are they? The main players are BarMax, Barbary, Kaplan, Marino, Pieper, and Themis, though there are others out there, and there are others popping up all the time. BarMax is the newest on the scene. They're entirely app-based. Barbary is probably the most well-known and the biggest. Kaplan, many of you probably took a Kaplan LSAT course. The bar component of Kaplan is a separate entity within Kaplan, so if you had a bad experience with their LSAT program, I wouldn't write off Kaplan completely. They do heavily focus on the MBE, so if multiple choice questions is something that you're worried about, then Kaplan might be the right choice for you. Marino and Pieper are both local New York family-run companies. Marino provides a lot of examples and problems in their lecture, which many people find to be helpful. Pieper focuses a lot on mnemonics. So if you're somebody who likes to use mnemonic devices in your studying, Pieper might be a good choice for you. Themis is a completely online program, and their thing is really that they have shorter lectures. So they've broken up their lectures into 15 to 20-minute segments, and then you have a quiz right after. Barbary, Kaplan, and Themis all have fill-in-the-blank handouts that you use while you go through the lecture. So you just fill in words and answers here and there. The other companies, I believe, all require you to take your own notes, although Marino and BarMax may have outlines as well. All of these companies offer free MPRE courses. So if you have not yet taken the multi-state professional responsibility exam, I encourage you to use 2 or 3 of these different companies, watch their lectures, get their practice questions, so you can get a feel for what they're like and which one might work the best for you. There are 2 primary options for study plans when you're looking at the period of time over which you're going to be studying for the bar. The first is your full-time study. It's about 9 to 10 weeks from the period between graduation and either the end of July or the end of February, depending on when you graduate and when you take the bar. The second possibility is an extended study period. This would be part-time study and would need to be done over 5 to 6 months leading up to the bar exam. We'll talk about each of these one by one. In terms of the daily plan, full-time study, you're looking at doing basically 3 things every single weekday. Watching bar review lecture, making your own study materials or tweaking the ones from your bar company, and then doing some form of practice. Ideally, that's MBEs and essays, but it could be one or the other. Sometimes people will do MBEs one day and essays the next. We also recommend that you do one MPT a week at least. This is kind of what a typical day might look like. Obviously, it's not as important what you do when as that you do each of those 3 things every single day. You're roughly going to be watching your bar review lecture for 4 hours each day and then having 3 2-hour slots outside of that. The reason that we break it out into 2-hour slots is that it's not really useful for you to be sitting down and studying for more than 2 hours. Most people find they cannot be productive for more than 2 hours. Often people find actually that 2 hours is too long. So if you need to bring it down to an hour and a half study block or 45 minutes or something like that, you can. But you want to make sure that you're building up your stamina, because eventually you are going to need to be able to sit down and focus for 3 hours, because each block of the bar exam is broken up into 3 hours. You want to make sure that you schedule out your time and you actually write it down, and that each slot has a subject and a task. You don't want to just go into every day and saying, okay, I'm going to study. You want to know, okay, I'm going to do contracts, MBEs, this 18 question set, or I'm going to do a secure transactions essay and then review it in this 2-hour block. The subject will be set by your bar review company, but you want to know what task you're going to accomplish during each block. You also want to put in a location. You may want to switch up your location and do some studying here at the law school, some studying at home, or at another library or another law school. Sometimes just getting up and switching locations can give your brain the reset it needs to become more productive. You also really want to make sure that you give yourself breaks and think about both your physical health and your mental health. Those things are essential components of any bar study plan. You want to do things that make you smile, you want to do things that make you feel good, and you want to do things that allow you to de-stress. So you want to make sure that you're exercising, that you're getting regular sleep, and that you're eating as well as you can, so that your brain and your body are in the best shape possible to perform well on the bar exam. The extended study plan, as I mentioned before, goes over 5 to 6 months. You're going to be studying primarily part-time, the same way that if you're a part-time evening student, you've been doing for the past few years, Monday through Thursday, and 1 full day on the weekends. It's important, however, that you take at least 2 weeks off right before the bar exam. That's really the least amount of time that you should be taking off, because you need to get into the full-time study mindset, and you need to really put your entire focus on the bar exam. The extended study plan is not without some concerns, however. You need to think about whether it's really sustainable for you. Is it sustainable for you to be studying for an exam that's 6 months away? If you don't have to show up to a class, you don't have the accountability of regular assignments or other people that you're going to be seeing, we will run our mentor program for you for that entire period of time. We're going to be talking about the mentor program a little bit later. So it's not like you'll be totally on your own, but it is difficult to sustain studying for one test for a 6-month period of time. So you need to make sure that you are very self-motivated and that you have your life in a place where you can really commit to doing so. It also will delay your bar admission for some time, so you want to think about your life long term. Is it really better for you to push off studying for the bar, or are you able to manage doing the full-time bar study period, which is shorter and which will allow you to be actually admitted and licensed earlier? If you are planning on doing the extended bar study plan, you want to speak to your employer now. Either way, whether you're doing full-time or extended study, you want to speak to your employer now and get as much time off as you can possibly get, because even though you're going to be studying over a longer period of time, primarily in the evenings and weekends, it's important that you have that time off right before the bar, and it's important that they know that you're going to be taking on this really large undertaking, and to see if there are ways that you can tweak your schedule, reduce some of the projects you're working on, or things like that. No matter what study plan you enter into, you need to clear the decks. You're going to need extreme focus for the bar study period. Most folks around you, your family and friends, are not going to understand why you need to be studying for one test for so long. So you need to talk to them now. You need to keep reminding them of what's ahead of you, of what's coming, and that you need their support. And so if they could make dinner for you, do your laundry every once in a while, those little steps will go a long way. But they need to know that even more than your time in law school, you're going to be absent from their lives now because you really need to focus on the bar exam. A lot of folks care for children or other family members. You want to think about alternative family care options as early as you can. Can you get extended childcare? Can you put your children in summer camp? Can you lean on other family members? The bar study period is really a short period of time, but it's a critical one. And so you want to make sure that you think about those things now and lean on people. You will be much better able to give back to your family members to help them out once you are a licensed admitted attorney and practicing. Think about where you live. It's not a good idea to try to move during the bar study period. So if your lease is going to come up, or if you want to get out of your current living situation, make sure that you figure that out now, well before the time that you're studying for the bar. Also think about where you want to study. You're always welcome to study at the law school, but you may have a long commute here, so you may want to study somewhere closer to where you live or closer to where you work. So look at options. If you have another CUNY school nearby and you want to study there, let me know. We can try to provide access to that CUNY school. So you want to think about, are there places near where you live, near where you work, or here at school, so that you can have a few alternative study locations lined up. Go visit them now. And also think about, finally, if you've got toxic people or toxic habits in your life. And what I mean by this is anything that's more negative than positive. Any people or habits that cause you to be more stressed out or less productive, you want to think about making changes right now. You don't want to be breaking up with anybody or trying to quit smoking while you study for the bar. So if there are things that you want to do in order to improve your life, you want to do those things now, well before bar study. We have a bar mentor program that runs from graduation through when you pass the bar, whenever it is that you pass the bar. The bar mentor program is staffed by an amazing group of faculty and alums who we've trained over the past several years. You meet with them weekly and you get a writing assignment, either an essay or an MPT. We tie our schedule of writing assignments to the specific bar course that you are taking, so that you will be working through a subject you will have just recently covered in your bar review course, and you get immediate feedback. You basically come in, you do an essay, you send it to us, we look at it, and then you come in and chat about it, so that we can talk about your understanding of the doctrine, your writing, your structure, anything that's really on your mind about your ability to do essays and multi-state performance tests. We also will ask you about your MBE practice and are happy to do multiple choice questions with you and really talk about your study strategies, how things are going, what you're nervous about, and anything related to the bar and to your life that you want to talk about. Students have found the Bar Mentor program to be really helpful. A lot of people in your life are not going to be sympathetic to what you're going through as you study for the bar. They're not going to understand, but we do, and we are glad to work with you through it. So finally, come see us. Florence and Allie, we are your primary bar support coordinators, although there are plenty of faculty and staff throughout the law school that will help as well. But come see us, come talk to us now about what you're thinking in terms of when you're going to study, how you're going to study, where you're going to study, so that we can help you come up with a plan that'll help you going forward. And don't forget to go on the CUNY Law School website and check out our other videos. Thanks. Bye.